Talk about what you're doing, what your position is right now at BirdDog, and then we're going to go do a little history lesson. But talk about what your job is there today.
Yeah, great. So at BirdDog, I'm CEO of BirdDog. So one of the founders, me and Eamon, set up BirdDog about 4 years ago, coincidentally about the same time that NDI was announced.
One of the things that I think we need to educate people on is while NDI is a software technology, you guys kind of took a different tact and said, if we could put this software on a chip, we could do it better, faster, cleaner, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
But what we did, the approach we wanted to do was make a product that was small enough to be able to mount on a camera, that was low enough power to run off power over Ethernet, and became a portable thing that you could take with you, put it in your pocket and use it wherever you needed. And that was really the catalyst for why we had to go and make our own hardware.
I want to talk about the studio first because it was your first product that actually shipped and we loved it. It was a great product. But from the beginning, you always had like a secret feature up your sleeve with that studio, and that was all the products that were out there were going to be HDMI or SDI to NDI, but you guys had a different thought. Tell us what that thought was.
The NDI converter product was always assumed to be taking something in from a camera and producing it into an NDI format you could use within your production. But what we really thought of is that with NDI, there's no reason why it can't be used for certainly in-venue distribution. And from our perspective, there's a lot more screens out there than there is cameras. And we really wanted to make sure that we could put our products behind those screens to help that low latency, really high quality distribution. And with that, we've had some pretty large deployments in even some wide environments like corporate AV, as well as in broadcast environment as well. So it's actually software-defined hardware, I suppose, is the best way to describe it. I think in some ways we're famous for the amount of firmware updates we do. We can keep on improving the products and adding really key features that add a lot of value, things like decode.
So talk about console, because what I like to explain to people is it's a visual representation of a comms mixing board, and it makes it just so much easier because you can see what the guy's shooting.
The magic of NDI means that on a network you can get audio and video in real time. You can see every single source, and for us that just made so much sense. Audio comms has always been this box in the corner with a button on there to talk to someone. Wouldn't it be so much better if you could see that video, if you could see which camera's live on air at the moment? But they could, the operator of that stage facility could give a laptop to the marketing person and say, here's all your cameras, you can choose what goes on the screen. It's something that needs to be easy to be able to configure and use and be able to jump in and operate straight away. And I think BirdDog Central really did help us, give people the awareness that you could use NDI for distribution as well.
But in an all BirdDog workflow, the iMag delay was so slight, it was usable and people could watch it and weren't upset that the arm went this way and then the voice came out.
To have a single product, one size fits all, doesn't make a lot of sense. There's people that need a small camera for a huddle room type thing, or that have limited spaces in studios. There's other people that need a 30 times zoom to fit in a house of worship to be able to zoom in and be able to use that. And then the weatherproof cameras are just the next level as well. The fact that you can literally put one of those cameras anywhere on the planet, regardless of the temperature it is at the moment, and it'll operate is pretty exciting. So while we keep our products as competitive as possible, we really do source the best components. And when you're building products, you've got a choice between consumer grade and engineering grade. For us, we always use the higher heat related products. So they're able to withstand greater heat, they're able to be more stable. And I guess the last thing is, being a piece of hardware, when it turns on, its only thing to do in the world is to make NDI. It's not having to do a Windows update, it's not having to do other things. So it's designed to work 24/7.
I want to talk about the BirdDog Cloud, NDI remote production. Now,
what it allows you to do is, for example, access a camera. You can control that and use it as if it was on your local network, but from anywhere in the world, literally from Melbourne to New York. But further to that, we actually support remote production workflows. And there's a key difference between getting one camera from one location to another and getting multiple cameras and keeping them in sync. And that's really where BirdDog Cloud really comes into its own.
The products we just introduced, we did a great show on it, and that's the Flex family.
Yeah, look, I think in a lot of ways, Flex is where we've been heading right from the very start. It takes all of our best technology, our best capabilities, and puts it in this tiny box for a price that makes it really easy and really deployable in a lot of different places. The fact that it can have an MPF mount on the back with the Flex backpack, so we can attach that to the back of like an Atomos recorder or any other monitor. And the cool thing with this is right from the start, we've always been about putting everything down a single cable. So with an Ethernet cable, we can power, you can do audio, video, tele, and audio comms. But now we also take that power and put it out as well. So you can power out a monitor, you can power out a camera as well directly from this Flexbox. So as
Yeah,
an
we hooked it
encoder,
up with our
becomes,
Atomos Ninja. It was incredible.
can be permanently deployed in distribution, but also for on-set and for getting video splits from various cameras, to be able to just have this small box that can power itself and work up to 4K. BirdDog, I think, is known as the NDI converter and camera company, but we actually do support a bunch of different formats. So Dante is a great example of that. We made an announcement a few months ago that we'll be supporting Dante across all of our hardware products and also software. Now, Dante is an amazing technology that allows you to take audio across your network. In some ways, not dissimilar to what NDI does. But in a larger environment, there's just so much deployment out there already. So in that AV type environment where you've got multiple meeting spaces or in event centers, concert halls, all of these things are really embedded in this Dante audio landscape. So what we thought is, wouldn't it be great is if you had one of our cameras, for example, and we could tie up the Dante that's coming off the microphone that's within the building or from the mix, and join that directly into your NDI feed. So then that camera has got the house audio that goes through there with everything polished perfectly rather than just a hot mic that's coming in. Broadcast proper is now using NDI, AV's moving into it. I think you'll see NDI in a whole bunch of places where you don't necessarily think they'll be at the moment, whether that's an office space, whether it's in digital signage, whether it's in corporate AV, broadcast, sports, distance learning. There's a huge amount of places it's going to be.